Hello, I'm Lamisila Pamela Ngubane, and this is the Entity Dynamics podcast. Entity Dynamics is a culture development consultancy where we believe that culture creates behavior and behavior creates reality. The title of this video is A Culture of Being Wise as Serpents and Gentle as Doves, the Need for Self-Care. So I am directing this video towards empaths, okay, specifically, but obviously these principles and ideas could apply to anyone, right? So obviously, it was Jesus from Nazareth who said to his disciples when they were going out into the world to make disciples of all nations, that they must be wise as serpents and gentle as doves. And what does that mean? Well, it's illustrated very well in some advice that a Buddhist teacher gave to one of his students. So she was explaining what he said to her. He told her that your compassion for people is like fire, and your discernment is like the water that cools the fire. So he was like saying, if you're compassionate, right, you burn with compassion. But if you are not discerning in where you basically dish out this compassion, you will burn yourself out. So you need to use your discernment so that you don't burn yourself out. Okay. So it's the same thing that Christ was saying. Be wise as serpents, but gentle as doves. If you're going to just be gentle as a dove, you're probably going to be taken advantage of. And as an empath, you know how you've been taken advantage of. Okay. So you have to be wise as a serpent. You have to be discerning. You have to know, like how I said in my previous video, go to where you are valued. Don't cast your pearls before swine. Go to where you're valued. And Christ gives the example where he consistently asked people, do you want to be made whole? Do you want to be healed? Or if someone came to him seeking healing, he would heal them. So he went to the willing. He didn't force his healing on people. He offered it. If it was declined, he went on his way. If it was asked for, he gladly gave it. So you too, when you are giving of yourself, you need to give of yourself to those who actually want your help. This is also using your discernment, because unfortunately there are people who are going to pretend they want your help just so that they can be in your space and benefit from your kindness and your warmth and your generosity, knowing full well that they're not interested in changing. And this goes back to what I said in a previous video about seeing beyond the potential that a person presents to you. You have to see people for who they are and what they are. Their behavior will show you what they're about. You know what I'm saying? And yes, there are some crazy people out here who will play a part and make you believe that for real, they are on board with this mission of healing themselves and making themselves a better person, because they can see that you're happy to give out of your energy and your generosity and your love and your compassion, and but obviously these people will expose themselves over time. So you need to be discerning. And the thing is with discernment, it goes beyond just figuring out who are the genuine people and who are the swine who are going to trample your pearls underfoot and then turn on you. It also goes to gauging if you have enough to give, because you have to fill, as they say, you have to fill your own cup first if you're going to be able to give to other people. And it sounds a little bit self-helpy, taking self-care to the extreme perhaps, but it's actually very valid, because just like the analogy says, if your cup is empty, how are you going to pour into someone else's cup? You know what I'm saying? So you need to take care of yourself. And this is something that a lot of empaths struggle with. And I think it's part of the issue of the shadow, the unintegrated shadow of many empaths. It's not an integrated shadow because it's something which we have been conditioned in our society not to see as a problem. Okay. Many empaths have a situation, especially when they aren't experienced enough to use their discernment, have an experience where they are constantly there for other people and for people in their families, for example. But when it's time for them to get help, there's no one there for them, because everyone just assumes that they always have it together. They're strong, they're energetic, they're positive, they're so philosophically deep. They seem to be able to take care of themselves, and often they can, but this is just the thing. If you're an empath, chances are you are going to have to take care of yourself. So you're going to have to take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can't burn yourself out thinking someone's going to see your suffering and try and intervene to help you. That's not often the case. Okay, it's not often the case. So you have to take care of yourself. And taking care of yourself doesn't mean just taking care of your body, your health, your mental well-being, your spiritual well-being. It also means taking care of your family, spending time with your family. It means, cleaning your house, doing your laundry, taking your car for a wash and a service, taking a nap, making sure you eat healthy, and this thing of rest is highly, highly important, and I posted about it yesterday, just like a written post, where I was saying, in this culture that we live in, people are vilified for wanting to take a rest. It's the craziest thing. You're made to feel like so ashamed for being a human being who gets tired. You know what I'm saying? And this happens to empaths, and they tend to brush it aside because they know that their primary motivation in this life is to be of service to their fellow human beings. So they want to go above and beyond. And that's fantastic. And if you have the capacity, by all means do it. Sometimes, yes, you will work. You will work, like many doctors do it, 24-hour shifts, because they care about their patients, But when they go home, they need to make sure that they take care of themselves. Because this is the thing, we live in this society where we've been conditioned to believe that the people who want to help, the people who care, should sacrifice themselves, should burn themselves out, should even neglect themselves to the point of incapacity because they have a calling. And apparently, if you have a calling, then you must just burn yourself out and self-sacrifice to the point of self-neglect. That's not a virtue. It's not a virtue, because the same people who need you, what are they going to do if you're too sick to take care of them? Now, what do they do? You know what I'm saying? So you need to take care of yourself if you want to be of service. That is possibly the highest form of service, because it's like, if you have an expensive paintbrush that you love to paint with, you're not going to paint with it and then leave it soaking in a bucket of water covered in paint, right? You're going to wash it, you're going to clean it, you're going to dry it, and you're going to put it away nicely. You have to do the same thing with yourself, because you are a value add to any situation you're in. And you know that. And the thing is, like, that you are not like the narcissist. The COVID narcissist will pretend to be like you, being helpful, being there for everyone. But the big difference comes is that when it's no longer suiting them to be helpful, they're going to just evacuate. They'll leave. And you will still be there. You know what I'm saying? So you need to value yourself, and don't think that just because there are other people who are not actually sincere, that you have to somehow compensate for their lack of sincerity. Also another thing which is very important is that sometimes, if you're not taking care of yourself in the name of taking care of other people, you're actually, in many respects, teaching people to be helpless and to be dependent on you. Okay, so when you're taking care of yourself, actually, and this is how awesome empaths are, because they're vibrating in the highest frequency of authenticity and love and truth. When you actually step back to take care of yourself, you actually equip other people to fill the gap, to take care of things themselves as well, in lieu of your presence. And this is something which you can, I think, use as a motivator for when you need to rest, when you need to take care of yourself, that you're giving other people opportunity to take care of themselves and to take care of the situation as well. Okay, so it's like a win-win. Don't feel bad. I know many empaths find it very difficult to step back, but actually you're helping people, because when you're not there, they need to be able to carry on. And the fact is, we're not all going to be here forever. And also the fact is, if you're working with communities, or if you're even in a family dynamic, you're going to have to move on with your life, okay, at some point. So don't make yourself beholden to anyone. Take care of yourself. Thank you. Bye.